proving to myself that I can do it and proving other people that I can do it.
It's an all-or-nothing gamble for him, this restaurant. I can't believe this kitchen was allowed to be operating.
I'm committed to Fork. We better make this restaurant work.
Yes, you are.
In Seattle, the sun may not shine for weeks on end. But if food's your thing, this is the promised land. The Pacific Northwest is bursting with nature's bounty. In the 90s, the sleepy birthplace of grunge got rich on high tech. Suddenly, the locals wanted the best.
Seattle diners are just hipper than thou.
Scott Simpson is considered a local treasure. The boy who worked in his father's restaurant grew up to delight diners at his Blue Onion Bistro.
The Blue Onion was a really super funky place, and the menu had a lot of whimsy in it.
It was comfort food, it was downscale, but it was superb.
18 months ago, he gave it all up.
I thought I lost a lot of the magic. I could barely work some days. There's some days I would just sit in the office all day and never leave.
It wasn't burnout. He broke up with his girlfriend who cooked with him, and his mother died.
I tried committing suicide twice in my life from that, and you know, I'm not even really sure I wanted to. I was so sad. I was really down. I probably put on 50 pounds just this year because I would sit on the couch for 6 months. I don't think I ever left. Actually, finally, for once in my life, seek out counseling and try to figure out why I was so upset. And then that's when they diagnosed the bipolar and helped me, kind of figure out what was really wrong with me.
The counseling got Scott back on track and helped him deal with his loss.
Over the last year, I've become a completely different person. And I said, I'm gonna fix this, I'm gonna fix this. And I did it. One by one, I think I've done everything. The next time, I'm gonna lose the weight.
But that may have to wait, because he's just bought a restaurant and found Jared Stoneberg, a new cooking partner. It's an eccentric little Art Deco spot in an eclectic part of town.
The murals look a lot better since they cleaned them.
Well, it's actually the story of Alexander Pushkin's The Swan. That's what the whole mural depicts.
Oh, it looks like he took the handle for the bathroom door with him. One of the biggest improvements will be lighting this space correctly. It's so dark in here. It's nice.
Yeah, we'll probably save like, $3,000 or so, just not having to replace the tables. And, I'd much rather spend it on some new chef toys instead.
The place cost him just $50,000, and he plans to spend another $100 sprucing it up, mostly on the kitchen.
Yeah.
This kitchen is a real piece of crap. This place is trashed.
Totally.
Is that stone?
Yeah. I don't know about those plates. The kitchen just will need to be completely... You said you have a power washer at home?
Yeah, we'll power wash it and
just
steam clean it.
Everything out and just blow the whole thing.
I mean, these plates, look like they're from Kmart.
This machine's gonna be used or a new one will come in?
This is ours.
I think this kitchen is unsanitary to serve food to the public, right?
They're opening in just 8 weeks. Scott wants to call it Fork.
And the fork is a really cool thing. You use it all the time. It's something without it, we'd be really, we'd be really stuck without forks.
At the Blue Onion, Scott was loved for his no-rules American comfort food. At Fork, he'll make the leap to fine dining. Today, he's at George Page's organic farm, looking for inspiration.
I think that to be taken really seriously, very small, especially as a chef-owned restaurant, that you do need to be getting into the organics now.
Organic foods and organic wines.
That's not, I just think, the West Coast trend. I think that's going to be a national trend very soon, too.
But Scott wants his creations to break new ground.
this will afford me a lot more opportunity to, be experimental, and that's what this whole place is about. It's going to be a very, very experimental place.
This is where all of our fermentations take place, and we ferment in these large 200-gallon vats.
Maybe what I want to do is like chemistry and science. I like to, mix the two.
Once we press this out, we take the pumice, which is the pressed out skins. The pigs love it, and they have a pig party for the weekend.
That tastes awesome. Have you ever tried to make sorbet out of this?
No, but that's a great idea.
It'd be amazing. It would be absolutely incredible.
Absolutely.
I want to match things that aren't, usually matched together. I think it'd be very interesting to maybe marinate some meats inside it. Maybe leave them out for a few days, and maybe some lamb or see what comes.
That's a great idea.
I want to do things that maybe shock people a bit, and they say that doesn't work, and then when they eat it, they say, yeah, that totally works. Might even with some soft-boiled eggs, maybe put them overnight, and it'd be very interesting, like a 1,000-year-old egg. So I'd like to reduce this down to a syrup and make it into an ice cream. That'd be incredible.
The wine and the yeast all share molds and yeast. The same
Cultures, yeah.
ones. It's all the sea breeze yeast. It's all the sea breeze mold. I'm tasting your basement, and that's the beautiful thing.
For a man who was unable to work for close to 2 years, this is all an experiment.
So it's, basically, proving to myself that I can do it, and again, it's proving other people that I can do it. I really want to show people I can do this. And I haven't even touched a knife or cooked anything. The only thing I've made in 15 months is reservations.
In Seattle, Scott Simpson has found the inspiration for his new restaurant, where he'll experiment with the best local organic products. But he's only got 4 weeks to opening, and the kitchen is a filthy mess.
This kitchen is a real piece of crap.
It's going to be an ugly job.
I can't believe this kitchen was allowed to be operating in the state of Washington, in the city of Seattle.
But Scott will leave it to Jared and Darcy, because he has other plans for the day.
We found a little singed mouse. He was hiding under the back of the grill. Now, I've seen lots of animals running through different kitchens in my days, but I haven't seen too many dead ones.
I really like tattoos. I think they're a really cool reminder of this restaurant, and I'll never forget this place because I got it right here on my arm. Hey, what's up?
Hey, Scott, how'd it go? Woo, you sure did. That's same thing on both, huh?
I'm committed to fork. We better make this restaurant work.
Yes, you are.
2 weeks till opening. Fork is still a bit of a mess. The plumbing has to be replaced, the electrical redone. They were hoping to reveal wood under the carpet, but there's nothing usable left.
Everything's really skyrocketed. It's gone up a lot, maybe 30 or 40,000 more than I thought it would be. I'm pretty lucky. I mean, the budget was 150. I've actually got a lot of hidden money, so I'm okay. I'll make it, but it was definitely a surprise.
1 week before opening, there's still not much of a kitchen either, but enough to start experimenting. The menu will change every month, based on what's in season. To get their creative juices going, they asked George, the organic farmer, to choose some of his finest products. They have no idea what he picked.
This is hearts. All right.
Looks like some goat's milk, a little must, I guess, in as well.
Oh, the must. Got some brie. This one's labeled chocolate gelato, but it looks like the liver to me.
It's not just that they have to make something delicious out of all this. Scott needs to know he's beaten his demons.
And I haven't even touched a knife or cooked anything. The only thing I've made in 15 months is reservations. I'm rusty. I'm really rusty. I need to practice.
This is also the first time Scott and Jared have cooked together. Scott found him on the internet.
This feels like two people who are given in marriage making out for the first time. We just got to kind of get our groove on together, you know?
He's young, and he's hungry, and he's got great skill, and he works with a really good heart.
The new groove begins with the first experiment,
It might not work, but who cares? Let's see what happens. I'm gonna make it a return on their birth. I'm gonna stuff these chickens with whole eggs and I'm gonna roast them inside. See how they come out. So a little red wine.
He'll steam it with red wine and cover it all with grape must, the stems and skins and seeds from fermenting wine. They're trying a goat's milk and wild mushroom sauce. The bitter greens will go into a cannelloni with oxtail and Parmesan. They abandon the little hearts and livers and use only the breasts from the duck. But Scott's not on his game.
Today I'm a little spent. With the bipolar, sometimes I go up and down, and being a little under the weather today, and I broke my toe, and you know, it's like been a week from hell. It smells gravy. Yeah, it's neat.
And the chicken is a total disaster.
Not only has he not cooked at all, but he hasn't cooked this type of food for even longer than he's been not cooking.
I mean, I want to be the best I can be, and I know right now I'm not. I just came back from like a 4-hour excursion trying to find fish. There's nothing available.
Everyone in Seattle is looking forward to seeing what Scott Simpson comes up with at his new restaurant, Fork.
The buzz about this place is tremendous. It's humongous. Before it was no hype, and now there's a major hype on the street.
But his experiments with local organic products aren't going well.
I'm rusty. I'm really rusty.
Opening night is 1 week away. Scott and Jared are back in the kitchen. They've invited some friends over to sample some of their first efforts together.
Yeah, right up against it. How's that?
Jared's son, Jared Jr., will have the last word.
We'll have a tender boy.
You'll make a good stock.
Scott has salvaged the eggs from the chicken fiasco for the first dish.
Steak, eggs, and polenta. Steak and eggs is a classic play on breakfast.
Steak, eggs, and polenta, served with potato and cipollini onions.
Oh, it's really good.
No, it's really good.
That's good.
I'm just gonna put a little bit of the juice from the oxtail braise on there as well.
That's good.
So now I've got these little tiny cannellonis. Kind of do a little bit of...
The cannelloni sits on a bed of goat cheese oxtail mushroom sauce and are topped with truffles.
All right, guys. So this is...
Secrets.
Here, bud. Oh, JJ.
The duck breasts are served with frisee and a duck reduction.
That's your big break, kid. You brew it.
Nice and crispy and great taste to it.
They finish off with the musty basement brie cheese, and everyone is pleased.
It's been too long since I had your cooking, Scott. It's good.
But Scott stays in the background. He's haunted by memories of his ex-girlfriend who cooked with him at the Blue Onion.
I loved working with her. It was great. It was the best time of my life. There was never a mistake. We never had any mistakes ever. You know, maybe a little bit of my fire is squelched, because sometimes I used to look over and work with her, and it would really motivate me to be, you know, to work harder.
It's now only 24 hours before opening. It's also the start of the Christmas holidays. Not a great time to get things done if you're in a hurry. Scott's relying on just a few friends to finish up. Hardly any tradespeople are available.
Next 24 hours, we have to make this place into a dining room. We have to clean a lot of things. We have to put together 2 non-existent bathrooms.
You have nowhere to wash your hands if you go to the bathroom.
The compressors for the refrigerators, they were in about the same condition as the kitchen. They were like it was almost like somebody had poured grease on them. When our plate order came in, there was no wine glasses on the order, which is a concern considering we're going to be serving a lot of wine tomorrow. I mean, I don't think we can pour the wine in midair. I mean, I don't think it's going to work.
The servers, Scott has a woman who he's extremely confident in running the front of the house who won't be here tomorrow.
there's a few glitches to work out in the kitchen, too.
I've got a few pans of curdle brulee because of the oven.
But that's easy to fix. This may not be.
I just came back from like a 4-hour excursion trying to find fish, and the really bad weather right now, the fishermen are not coming in with any loads. Then it's right after the holidays, so there's nothing available. We've got to clean up all this garbage, we've got to cook some food, and we got to get our act together.
In Seattle, Scott Simpson hardly seemed ready to unveil his new restaurant last night. But in 8 hours, his first guests will be arriving. Scott and Jared have ordered the freshest and finest.
I'll take 2 of those.
It's all arriving, except for the salmon.
And that is one of our highlights, and unfortunately, we couldn't even get salmon in Seattle, which is that's a hilarious thing to say.
We have wine glasses on loan to us from the company because they don't have the ones we ordered.
They borrowed some wine glasses. Scott hates them because their order didn't come, and they didn't have time to write or print a menu.
You know, but we'll settle. I don't like to settle, but you know, what can I do?
But here's the good news.
God bless running water. So we actually have a bathroom.
The 2 things that customers sort of rate a restaurant on is the bread they receive before their meal and the bathrooms.
We've got to do 3 things. We've got to clean up all this garbage, we've got to cook some food, and we got to get our act together.
So we're gonna have the cheese boards on every table, right?
The beef foam is done, the carrot sauce is done.
We're gonna serve beef short ribs,
Okay.
shrimp
Terrines.
with a small salad.
So we're looking really good for, we might have time for a smoke.
It's an all or nothing gamble for him, this restaurant, and so he's got a lot at stake.
But it was a gamble Scott had to take. Fort cost $230,000. Scott had to dig deep into his personal savings. But in just 8 weeks, they turned a neglected corner into an inviting neighborhood jewel. Through all of it, Scott kept his personal struggle a secret from everyone but Jared.
I don't really want to scare anybody. I would like to work through it first and then see if, you know, if problems occur, then maybe I'll go into it more. But I think I've got a handle on it. So, but I think if I put that predisposed notion in their head, they're going to be looking for it.
Tonight, Scott will close the door on the past and open one on his future. Seattle was waiting for him. Fork is jammed with people who live close by, friends and family. Scott pulls back from some of his experiments, but the menu is rich and varied. Onion tartlets with scallops and gorgonzola.
I like the unexpected juxtaposition of certain things.
Duck liver mousse topped with aspic, served with crostini.
It is phenomenal.
Beef short ribs with celery root puree and chanterelle mushrooms. Duck confit with creamy polenta and barbecue sauce.
Oh, this is so good. This sauce is divine.
A full course of raw milk cheese and almonds.
It looks great. It's awesome.
And for dessert, a medley of homemade sorbet, creme brulee, and a chocolate fantasy. Nobody seems to miss the salmon.
The Blue Onion Bistro, Scott's last restaurant, was one of my favorites. And from what I can tell so far, this is going to be as good, if not better.
Personally, for me, I think the greatest success I had is that when I was working, I actually felt like I had the magic again after 2 years.
All right, Tafort, good beginnings.
Awesome. I was very pleased with the way I worked tonight. I know I can do this again. It's good.
Find more at vineliving.com. Real information for real people.